something. For sure.
It was ridiculous, wasn't it? Like, there was just, they didn't hold back on anything. They crushed them. Now we're on Nuke. And let's see what Na'Vi can do. They're going to be starting on the T side, which can be dangerous, but it can also feel great if you just get the right rounds in early on.
Oh, yeah.
You know you've laid the foundation. You know you're on your way. Bialy will be taking down Flamey, and again, he's had an incredible tournament so far. And now they're coming back around here. Na'Vi want to see if they can get the refrag in. Bialy getting one more kill. Mihu also helping out. Edward finally able to fight his way back, but see, he's still being very aggressive on that side. Take no damage at all from that low engagement. Third kill coming in, and almost a quad that could have been happening, but still, he's done his job now. It's just up to Snax and Neo, and they don't really need to fight Zeus. Again, he has to put the bomb down, to get close to a site. Like, this is going to be very, very hard.
It really is.
He's hoping they just walk into a shot.
And DP right now, they're doing exactly what you say. They don't need to fight it, just kind of stick together, make sure that you set up in ways that you can trade, but Snax is actually going to go a little bit too far. Overextends right into the angle. So Zeus get his wish fulfilled. That's going to put Neo on the hunt as well. This is probably not something Zeus is expecting.
Definitely not.
He is checking behind himself, so maybe he's having an afterthought.
Neo is not 100% confident. The brilliant thing about Neo and Snax both being alive on the A-bomb side is they can obviously get down to the B-bomb side fairly quickly, so they wouldn't have to sort of scramble all over the place as long as they stayed alive, both of them. Now it's a bit different. The bomb is going to go down on B, and Neo now has to go and find Zeus, and he's got so many different positions to look at. He does not have a kit currently picked up. I don't know if there's one on the ground somewhere, but doesn't seem like there is. This could take a while for Neo, and even when he finds Zeus, if he doesn't get the kill immediately, it's going to be a long, drawn-out battle where he sort of has to fake the bomb, get Zeus to peek. It's never a good idea, so this could actually backfire a little bit on the VP side. 10 seconds, that's so long. Door opens, and yeah,
round.
I think this is pretty much it. I mean, Zeus can play this game all day. Another flash. Oh my god! What a headshot from Neo. It's a shame he didn't have that kit. Yeah. Otherwise, it could have been interesting. That's really well done. But it will be Na'Vi to pick it up. And I think, unfortunately, that's a big mistake from Snax.
It's a big mistake from Snax. And, I mean, you could also lean in and kind of say it's a bit of a misplay on Neo's part as well. As you mentioned, he doesn't find a kit. At that point, you kind of have to give up any sort of anonymity as to where you are on the map. You just have to trample through the vents and force Zeus at least to face you by tapping the bump early on. Give yourself a fighting chance, because using so much time and also getting the 50-50 wrong in terms of where you go out from the vents, you know, you're not giving yourself a lot of chances. And Zeus plays that well enough to the point where there's nothing Neo can do. Yeah,
and a good job as well. I mean, Zeus is not always the character you'd want to be alone, you know, one versus anything. So it's a good job that he manages to pick that one up. Not to rain on his parade or anything, but obviously there's so many stars on the Na'Vi team that you probably want somebody else.
Yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate timing.
Yeah.
The other's going to continue as well.
A little bit crazy, isn't it? They do win that fight in the ramp room, and here's the question for you. They've upgraded into armor and pistols. I see people do this all the time when they lose the pistol in CT Nuke. And it obviously makes you have an incredibly uncomfortable fourth round. And I always wonder about the trade here. People do it on so many maps where I think, well, maybe it's just that on Nuke you need to really cement that CT side.
I think the fact that, and this is one of the reasons why when the old Nuke, not the refurbished Nuke, I guess, that came into the map some time ago, but the old Nuke.
Yeah.
I was such a big proponent of basically rushing inner every single round as a T, especially if you want a T pistol, because as you said, so many teams buy up and make sure that they don't have a Molotov, they don't have a smoke for Squeaky, for example, or for Hut.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's just a highway for the Ts, and you deal with those trades. Nuke is very unique in the sense that both of these bomb sites are sites you can actually play from a disadvantage without too many issues, actually. So you can deal with 2v3 situations as the T side if you get the bomb plant down. So I definitely think a lot of teams screw themselves in that sense, and I think Virtus.pro might have fallen for that trap too. It's going to be interesting to see, though, obviously, but they do have, obviously there are a couple more changes to the map. There's no longer a window in Hut, so anyone coming through main only has one avenue of danger, really, in that sense.
Yeah.
So that helps out. You can kind of play a little bit more carefully in that sense, and that way you don't have to be as reliant on a Molotov to prevent, to potentially deal with any sort of quick push towards Squeaky, because you're not going to have that secondary guy messing up with your targets, really, from the window. But I really think, like, yeah, utility is just key on this map.
Yeah, it absolutely. I mean, maybe you'll see a little bit later on, but just the ability to stop some of the most aggressive plays that the C's can throw out, that in itself is a good way to get started. Charging in seems almost a little bit impromptu. Electronic going to be picking up 2 kills with the MP7 again. We talked about this earlier, but one of the few sort of changes in the patch that seems to have sort of played out a bit is just the slight price reduction of the MP7. Yeah. Now people play with it a lot more. And Pasha, I mean, Mihu could save the P250, I suppose, but Pasha with the Scout in the next round?
Yeah, no, well, not just the Scout, but the fact that he has head Kevlar.
Yeah.
As good as well. And he's going to find 2 frags. He's going to pick up a weapon, but that's $600 extra into his bank account. So he's sitting at 3.3 right now. So he's going to have more than enough cash, actually, going into the first buy round. But yeah, I think not only, obviously, the inner bomb side for utility's sake, but you see so many teams go to their default, or their default being on the T side, that they do the standard wall of smokes and you know, sneak their way in towards secret. Maybe have a couple of different renditions of it where you end up, you know, going through garage, or maybe you set up for a quick inner split. But you see more and more teams on the CT side actually use their Molotov right off the bat, right next to the T-Red boxes or T-Red container. And by doing so, obviously, you negate the smoke. Like, it doesn't have an effect that there's a massive gap all of a sudden in the middle of yard, and that's something that's really hard for the T side to deal with.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It does happen on a fairly regular basis. It doesn't seem to be the case this time, but there's a counter Molotov instead that's kind of holding them back, which means that wall in front is eventually going to evaporate, and yeah, they have to make their way past pretty quickly.
That would have been better off landing the Molotov again, like as we see other teams do, to just block off the smoke entirely, because that Molotov behind the container is just a temporary issue for them. Last shot.
He actually gave the Scout instead to Snacks and picked up the AWP. Zeus is going to be going down. That was a dangerous moment for Pasha. Could have maybe been punished for the repeak. Electronic sneaking down. Mihu going to come. Well, that's a very good adjustment. Electronic. Not always easy to take that fight when you're the one, because you're so exposed, especially if people... Electronic just walked up the stairwell, but if you actually crouch up and then stand, you're so much quicker in that peak, and it can be very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's also like a pretty wide angle that you have to cover as well as the team in there.
Oh no. Edward waiting for that for a long time, and he got the reward he was looking for. So now they're a man down. Bialy and Pasha need to win this round again. So critical here, and Flamey doing a fine job. There was a return headshot, but that is the difference between the M4 and the AK-47. Flamey comes out on top. So Pasha gonna have to make a run for it, and Virtus.pro, they're in trouble now.
Yeah, no, they're having a rough time here. Pasha this time is gonna have to venture towards the T-spawn. So new location, but same story. Remains to be seen if Na'Vi are keen on hunting, and it seems like they are. Flamey and Electronic already posted up in pretty aggressive positions. They're going to be joined by Simple as well, but still some ground to cover here. You don't want to lose too many weapons either.
No, definitely not. Hunt him down, try at least. He's already done some more damage. The bomb is going to go up in a couple of seconds. Great job from Patcher here, at least keeping the rifle alive as long as he could. But Simple,
such a nice move as well.
It really is. Doesn't even want the AWP.
No. And I can see that. I mean, it's T side of Nuke. You want to be as mobile as possible. It's not like you can, you know, bust out squeaky door and run down vents with an op, or I guess Simple could, but it's not advised. So, you know, having that opportunity or that option actually to be a bit more fluent in your play style, probably very, very beneficial.
So because they haven't really had their feet on the ground at all, Virtus.pro here in this in the second map, there are so many things that Na'Vi now don't have to worry about. Like, when the CT side is really working extremely well and people get very confident, suddenly you will see these, like, you know, weird double pushes into yard where the CTs go aggressive and they're suddenly fighting out by the red container, and maybe even just people holding, like, the secret stairs alone, and they have an AWP and they're just happy to run away if anything happens. Right now it seems like Na'Vi are in a position where they can more or less get control of, like, huge parts of the map with almost no contest whatsoever.
Yeah.
So that's a great position to be in.
No, it's wonderful, and especially because, I mean, Virtus.pro kind of messed up their own economy to the point where they're, even in buy rounds, not going to have the greatest amount of utility either, so they can't do much to fight back whenever they get pressured either. So they can't bring it to Na'Vi necessarily, if Na'Vi just set up correctly, and they can't necessarily take the fight as is. Right now, Yard's just been completely vacated, which leaves Na'Vi in full control over the lower end of Nuke.
Yeah, so they're going to get a free bomb plant here. Nothing to stop them, really. And Edward was even leading the charge the whole way with the Mac 10, so he was having a good time scouting all of that. So there will be another round here for Na'Vi. Pasha will get one good kill on Simple. And if they can salvage anything, I mean, the money is really important right now for VP.
It really is, and I mean, even with how few Barons we've seen so far out of them, Bialy's still sitting on 1900. So yeah, you got loss bonus going your way. It's going to be max after this round, but it's still extremely expensive to play that CT side, so they need to get wins on the board now, consecutive rounds as well.
Yeah, dreadful start here on the first half of Nuke, and obviously would be interesting, would be fun times if Na'Vi could end up just getting the perfect kind of revenge for Dust2 and just
win 63 on the round.
Exactly, bring it back.
An eye for an eye. So far, it's definitely looking like a possibility. Virtus.pro, though, still have a couple of more rounds to fight back with. Op's going to come into the hands of Pasha. Mihu going to get a decent amount of nades as well. No Molotov on him. Even though he did have the money for it, so see how that pans out for them. And Navi, I wouldn't be too surprised if they just keep going back to smoking off yard. Just seeing if they can find picks.
Spray comes through electronic.
Wins it.
This is a good way to get started. Very uncomfortable for Snacks. Well, actually, historically, has been pretty good at playing this yard. One of those players that's hard to find, hard to keep track of. That's what you want out of the yard. So many
smokes everywhere.
So many smokes everywhere. Electronic just wrecks him.
That's very true, and even with that opening frag, Navi not necessarily doing anything. Electronic's going to venture up from Secret. It's found by Bialy. Seems like the push is going to come towards the inner here. They might dive down through the vents now, instead of for a bit of a ramp split here. Edward set up. Molotov should land on top of Hut.
Yes.
That's to clear the path of Zeus at least.
Bialy unaffected by any Molotovs at the moment. One's going to go down in the vent next to him. Flashbangs raining in. He's not really worried about it. Might actually even realize, since no one's coming through or anything, that that's all just for show. Flamey trying to see if he could crack open the bottom of the map here. Pasha's waiting patiently. Hasn't opened the door yet. Gonna get a chance right there. That's a great kill. And if they drop down, he actually closes it again. Gonna be punting on the other side. Now it's a 2-on-3. And Na'Vi looking for another map here, of another round. I mean, 6-0 would be, it's already devastating. Na'Vi have already done such a good job. If they win this round too, I don't even know if Virtus.pro are going to be able to hold on any longer. Simple with a headshot, even if he drops low, it's going to leave Bialy in a 1 versus 2. Trying to get in, he actually gets that kill really quick. Simple now alone. This is very doable for Bialy. If he could just find the right angle, he's making a fair bit of noise, and Simple is behind the pillar waiting, and Bialy going to be able to pick it up. And even with the 10-second defuse, you should have enough time for it. So that's going to be the first round of the board here for Virtus.pro. Very scary, down to a 1 versus 1, but they make it work.
They make it, or Bialy makes it work. But
yeah.
For Virtus.pro to get the first round on the board, it requires a 4K out of him. That's really how badly they're struggling right now. And it's a really cool strategy from Na'Vi there, actually. You can tell that all the fuss that they're making, all the nades they're throwing through main and everything, it's not actually to buy space for anyone to drop down. It's actually just to prevent any sort of rotation from VP early on. So they've already set up with the majority of their players towards ramp and radio room. And by the time they're dropping down there, there's still a Molotov active inside events because of Zeus throwing out all of his utility down there. So you avoid any sort of early rotations. You can probably get the bomb plant pretty easily. All they had to do was find Pasha, and they managed to trade that 1-for-1. So that's something they can go forward with as well.
It's a dangerous position for Pasha to be in. If they jump down here, it's going to be tricky. Flick comes out. That's so quick. And taking down Electronic.
That is a nuts shot.
Yeah, he's going to be happy about that. We did drop very low, but Snacks will follow it up. Picks up a big kill, does walk backwards into Flamey, and even if he almost managed to adjust, it won't be quite in time. So still a 4-on-3, and again, now Virtus.pro, I mean, they won a round, that's great, but now they simply must keep it up. Again, consecutive rounds, absolutely the name of the game. Edward jumping down, able to pick up the kill on Mihu, so a little bit damage done, and again, If they lose any more players here, that would be a bit of a disaster. Edward trying to chase him down, just hunting for that last player, or the fourth player at least, and Pasha will survive. So not only winning, but surviving with 3 players. Slow beginning here for Virtus.pro.
Slow beginning, but you know, as we know, all that we need is for that plow to get started. If they could convert this into a 10-5, then obviously still a lot of hope for VP to be able to do something. I think still, like on this new version of Nuke, the T side isn't necessarily fully explored. I don't think it was even on the old version when you had the outside bird walk and everything connected with everything. Teams were still figuring out how to play that as efficiently as possible. Now it's regressed a little bit more. I think it's definitely more of a CT-sided map, but again, with changes, you do get unexpected results.
And it's always been kind of the black sheep of the Counter-Strike maps, I suppose. So I think
which is a shame. I think Nuke is so special and unique.
Yeah, it's a great map, but since so many teams just don't really like to play it.
Yeah, there's always a couple who just vehemently hate it.
Yeah, and that in some ways that means like the rate of change of the metagame on Nuke is always just going to be slower, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's only like some teams that really feel comfortable competing on it.
And they never get to play it because everyone vetoes it against them.
Back in the really, really old days, at least of Global Offensive, obviously Very Games and NNIP had a lot of battles on this map, and it was interesting.
Until the Danes came along and ruined it for everyone.
True.
So nobody wanted to play Danish teams on
Turned out
Nuke anymore.
Fetish was somehow a #1 AWPer in the world on Nuke for some reason.
Oh god, out in Yard, I remember this.
He just killed everyone all the time, which wasn't even his role.
No. Well, one called upon. Right now, it's a big opportunity for Virtus.pro here to send Na'Vi back to a potential eco. Obviously, that does require them to actually deny a bomb plant, but right now, they do sit better than they have done for quite some time. Fended off any sort of initial aggression from Na'Vi. Pasha, you talked about this. When they start feeling confident on that CT side, we're going to see aggression coming out, and that's exactly what Pasha does.
Na'Vi almost wants to react immediately, but that Molotov up on the hut hasn't really caught anyone yet. They're just not holding it at the moment. The Ali going to put him a counter grenade, although he has to get out of that corner. He actually takes a fair bit of damage in doing so. And Mihu going to be going down. He was caught mid-rotation to try and get back. And Flamey with a good timing on the other side. Now just 35 seconds as Pasha's going to be taking down Edward. It's a 3-on-4, but they're starting to make their way towards that B-bomb site. They really don't have any more grenades left, Na'Vi, which is so uncomfortable when you want to get the bomb down. You never know if someone's going to peek you. This time that doesn't happen. Instead, Snacks goes down, and we're back in a 3-on-3. There's no smoke either, though, for VP to defuse in, so just very uncomfortable all around in this round. See if they can do something to get back in again. Virtus.pro can't let go yet. Pasha going to get 1 kill. Currently rocking a triple. Needs a bit more to close out this round. It's Flamey in the corner. Neo with the return, and now it's all on Zeus. Again, 1 versus 1. Neo has not dared to get picked up, but just as he does, Zeus was ready and waiting for it, and Na'Vi stealing the round. And this is so good for them right now. They've got everything they need.
Yeah, no, that's prime position for Na'Vi to be in. Really unlucky timing, unfortunate timing for Mihu there. Probably a bit of an over-rotation, honestly, because you can see it's how much utility VP still had to deal with any sort of push towards the upper bomb site. There was no way any Na'Vi players were coming out of Squeaky without getting peppered with bullets. Same thing could be said for the HUD as well.
Yeah.
So you can ask like how much of a necessity it really was for him to actually start a rotation over towards Heaven.
That was close.
Close but no cigar. And ooh, this is fun from VP.
This is an ancient strategy as well.
Yeah, but this is very VP-esque though.
Yeah, the whole idea is when you sort of run out in the yard like this, you think, I'm long range versus pistols, it's going to be fine. But if there's 3 of them and they're all, because there are like so many levels, they're all exactly at the same angle, just at different levels on top of each other.
It's really difficult to adjust.
It's very, very hard. Like even with the USPs or anything like that, there's a Deagle in there too. But
yeah, they
long
have
range
snacks as well to kind of just help them, well, lose their focus.
They do take a bit of a fight there. Now we should not be taking them. I just better to just fall away.
Oh, it's Zeus. Is it finally going to happen? Electronic. Dropping it off in the face of Snacks first. Why not?
Ken Edward cleaning it up with 3 headshots, no problem. So, good enough attempt. Always fun to see the Zeus being attempted, but not this time. 7-2 instead, and moving into round number 10. as finally Virtus.pro were able to pick up a bit more, but I mean, still 2 MP7s. I honestly don't know. Like, I feel like this is... I wouldn't say this is the similar level of collapse as Na'Vi was experiencing on Dust 2, but
there's more pushback for sure.
There's more pushback, but it's not enough.
Oh, no, definitely not. I mean, Snacks right now, as you mentioned, he, you know, historically he's been a very, very solid nuke player. Right now he's sitting at 1 kill, and he's meant to be one of the stars of the team. That's obviously not going to fly. So far, really, it's only Pasha and Bialy who's gotten much done. So they definitely need to talk things over. But again, it's tough to play the CT side of Nuke when you don't have the best utility. And again, with 2 MP7s on the side, that means that Snacks and Bialy are not necessarily going to be that helpful in terms of helping anyone with holding yard. Snacks primarily holds yard as well, so how is he going to cope with that? He's going to have to get aggressive.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he's doing, you're right. Bit of a failed Molotov there, which is obviously annoying. I think there might have actually been at least putting a bit of pressure on Snacks. Flash goes in. They're a bit worried that someone's going to be here, and he's just waiting for the right timing. Shoulder peek from Electronic is a very good idea, but he still goes down to the MP7. AK picked up, and Simple reveals his own position as well. That could be dangerous. Snacks nearly out of the fight here, and Simple's going to be able to pick him off. So you kind of wish that Snacks would have had some help. Again, this is where the utility comes in. Normally, probably they would have been able to flash for him or help him out a little bit more with grenades. And this time, they just had to watch him die alone out in the yard. So 4 on 4. Sush low on health, though.
Yeah, and what Na'Vi have done quite a few times here in these late round scenarios is actually take a fair amount of players actually towards the radio room, towards ramp, but seemingly they want to pressure yard more. Neil potentially find one Vitsus from main. Actually, another kill for Na'Vi. It's still a significant amount of damage done, though, on these Na'Vi players. So even Bialy with an MP7 here can actually do significant damage.
Problem is playing 2 on 4 like on this match. It's so hard to find out where you're supposed to stand on the CT side. Once you lose track of the CT or the T players,
just tuck yourself into a corner. It's bound to do good things for you. And well, they do find one of the full HP members as well. Bialy is going to get sandwiched, but oh, that's unfortunate timing as well.
Yeah, good shot from Pasha, but he can't flick onto Edward quick enough. He's still going to go down, and that will give Na'Vi round number 8 on the board. Again, collapsing the VP economy entirely. This is, yeah, I mean, this is a consequence of not really having the CT side economy at any point to feel very comfortable. And then also just Na'Vi, I mean, they're loving everything right now.
Yeah, Na'Vi done a good job on their T side, honestly, in terms of just changing things up in terms of where they actually want to put pressure. We've seen attempts at inner pushes, or at least fakes being thrown there. We've seen the classic defaults, you know, in terms of smoke walls a couple of times, but we've also seen them put a lot of quick pressure on towards ramp as well. Oh.
Now he's doing a fine job of the deal. Spammed at close range, could still get it done. Electronic is going to somehow survive, even as Snacks goes for the repeat. Not sure how. Seems like Na'Vi has stabilized a bit after a scary beginning to this round. Mihu going to be going down in the end to Simple, who picked up a triple kill. So, good attempt, good damage from VP. But they need to win all the remaining rounds right now.
They need something more. Again, they've had multiple rounds where they get close or they have an inkling at success, but it gets shuts down. Na'Vi doing a good job there. We're seeing a much more impactful Simple as well in this game than what we saw on the first map.
Yeah, you always feel like you knew that was going to happen. He only stays dormant for so long, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Eventually, you know, he's going to erupt. The whole village is going to be gone. Just all the end. Snacks going for a bit of a peek and taking down Electronic. Nice setup for flashbang as well. He gets 2 big kills. And Simple walks into a grenade trying to refrag that kill. So this is a great trade for Virtus.pro. That's what they wanted.
Not giving up any rotations either. Pasha's going to have eyes on radio. Not really sure what that Molotov is meant to do.
No, I was wondering. A smoke would have been something else.
Yeah, I guess it does obscure vision. Maybe Zeus felt that it was his only way to kind of get safely out of it. He does do so. It's a 4v3 situation, but Na'Vi not really sure as to what they want to do. Going out in towards yard, never a bad solution. Hugh's going to be the one to take first contact here.
Long range M4. Gonna get the kill. Now they really don't need to challenge anymore. Remember, there's only 45 seconds here. You know Na'Vi have to get onto a bomb site. If you fight them out in the yard, you're giving them a big chance to get back into the round. And miHo goes down. Probably just trying to keep an eye on it more than fighting, but he got caught anyway. 30 seconds left, and I think Na'Vi are hoping that more people from VP make this mistake.
Yeah, seems like they've learned, though. No immediate rotations happening. They're just kind of happy to be posted up where they are. Now it comes down to timing. Neo's going to find the right one onto Simple. That's the bomb as well dropped in heaven, so no chance for Flamey to win this round. Try to hold on to his weapon or potentially get one more member from VP to really put a dent into their economy.
And especially because that's the AWP, so I wonder if Bialy can pick it up down in the vent there. He's slowly getting up there. Goes for the fight. He's going to get dropped too.
That's greedy.
Very greedy.
I mean, again, Flamey, doesn't matter if he goes down, he's still going to have money for days. So he doesn't care about his life at that point. Like, he just wants to do as much damage to the VP players as possible. But
Pasha had to exchange the AWP for a Max 7.
That's, yeah, those weapons don't really have a lot of common, do they?
They really don't.
I guess we might see a change up in terms of positioning or actually how Pasha approaches this. He's still going to go towards the ramp area, but he's going to have to play close up now. It actually forces the second member from VP over towards the ramp area as well.
Really, really fast rush to make it down into Mini. Bialy not ready for it. Max is going to get one, but again, as soon as he gets that kill and falls back, they're already on him. He's just not expecting them to be that quick. Pasha jumping down with the Max 7 off of the ladder. If that had worked, my God.
Edward does survive with 1 HP, so it's close, but you can question whether or not it's just better to stay on top of heaven and allow the T's to come to you.
Well, they're going to come at least for Neo. Oh my God. Simple flying off the ladder and getting the headshot spray in there. Look at the change of pace for Na'Vi in this round. Like, they've been going a little bit slow, but this time they were so quick in Mini, they were so quick in yard that both Bialy and Snacks, like, even if Snacks got a kill, they're just not even close to ready.
And they couldn't be done it at a better time as well, but because of that Mag 7, right, the VP end up doing a boost on ramp because they want to have a sole defender on that area. And that obviously takes away any sort of rotation that you can have towards yard. There's no help for Snacks after he finds that first kill, gets immediately traded. miHo's not in a position where he's normally been under heaven to find a frag or two. And things just go really out of hand real fast, and Edward opens it up once again towards ramp. He's having a good game right now.
Yes, he definitely is. And he's, I mean, again, they're using him like you always wish you saw it with the SMG, just looking all over the place, establishing as much map control as possible. He's already picked up 2 kills, and this is going to be no problem. Bialy going to get 1 kill on Edward there, but it almost looks like Na'Vi are hunting for them at the moment, even though theoretically it could just go for the bomb plant. They're going to be just fine here. 11-3 as we move into round number 15 here in the second map of the grand finals. And honestly, I mean, I can't see how it's not going to be a third map right now.
Oh yeah, no, it feels like a given at this point. It does feel very reminiscent of Dust2, except the nuke doesn't lend itself to having these kind of T-halves all too often.
No. And even now, we just don't care.
Now you're doing an excellent job. And I like to see the fact that they're just willing to completely negate having an op for the better part of their half.
Well, we were all very confused about the map picks, and I guess this is kind of the result. You get sort of 2 maps that either one or the other team doesn't really excel that much on. Heading inside of the smokes. Snacks went down. Neo's managed to recover, and pistol. Hard to get a double there, but he did his best.
Bialy on the aggression. Finds 2-player inside of lobby. No bomb though, unfortunately for him, but it does pick up an AK. Does mean the man advantage lies with VP as well for once.
And not a bad job either for Bialy. He put down the smoke and sort of was really quite ready for somebody to peek. I think too often now we see people put down smokes and just pretend that they're walls, you know, so people just trust way too much in the power of that smoke. Electronic, I don't know especially how he got that second kill. Incredible turnaround in this round. So now it's on Bialy.
Again.
Yeah, one more time, 1 versus 2. Looking for the opening. The smoke fades, and Edward's going to be in there. Just had the advantage. 12-3 in favor of Na'Vi. If they weren't already winning, well, now they certainly are. This is a half you almost can't come back from. Yeah,
no, even with a pistol round win on Virtus.pro's end, you don't really see too much of a hope, do you? Because you would assume that Na'Vi, in this kind of scenario with this big of a buffer, they're not going to take any unnecessary risks in terms of buying up early or forcing too heavily into to a second round if they lose the pistol. So they're going to have the utility they need to get off to a good start and can work off of that. We'll see, though. A fair bit of utility picked up on the side of VP. Snacks, Neo, Smoke Flash, and HG. All to their name. They're actually going to be pretty quick about it going into yard.
Yeah, trying to see if they can get close. Simple is hearing a lot of footsteps out there, calling it in. Now he can't see anything, so long range fight here as Zeus just takes a quick peek out in the yard, unable to spot anybody. Let's see how this plays out. It's going to be Neo to pick up the first kill. Flamey, look how quick they are jumping up. This is going to be very uncomfortable for the people playing down in the low ground. You don't want to take this fight if you're Edward, where you're just standing, just sort of staring straight up into the sky. But you can't really pivot your aim very well. Neo goes down, though. Simple's going to find the kill on Snacks, and Virtus.pro, they had the opening. They need to do more. Edward going to drop the bomb carrier. Down on the low ground, he will eventually die, but it's still a 2-on-2 here. Na'Vi looking for the heartbreaking pistol win. Pasha missing the shots. He's going to go down to Susan Bialy. He's completely locked in. He's going to be dropped by Electronic. And just skating down off the high ground as Na'Vi will win the pistol. And that, I mean,
that feels like it seals the map, doesn't it?
I can't even think of a way.
That is, but VP are making so many like unnecessary mistakes in that
Even
scenario. Like, you have a 2v2 situation, you know one player is playing over by door, that's perfectly fine. Like, you can still plant towards heaven. There's no reason for Pasha to actually push out towards rafters to see if he can find that kill. Because again, it opens up an avenue for Zeus to get up to heaven. If Pasha doesn't bail away from that, then what the hell is Zeus supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like, he can't be like Simple. He can't hit accurate ladder shots all the time. So, I mean, yeah, in addition to that, Snacks just fluffing completely on a free kill onto Simple as well out in yard. It's a lot of lost opportunities. So what we saw out of VP with winning a lot of duels on Dust is definitely not being replicated here.
Simple and Edward going for the hunt. They know they've got the foot right on the throat of Virtus.pro. Zeus even getting the last kill in there. Wonderful auto shotgun, 14 to 13. Even in the craziest permutation of the simulation vendetta, there's just no chances there. Right.
Not even you can make this happen.
No, I'm afraid not.
Maybe you don't want it to happen because you want to see a third map.
I do want to see a third map. I feel like we, you know,
gonna get to the closest thing to an even ground between these two teams.
That'd be interesting, wouldn't it, if we could see just somewhere in between what we've seen in the first two maps, like a good medium.
Yeah, that would make for a nice finale to.
Then we've got it going on.
Yeah.
Oh, failed Molotov, and Edward's not going to mind at all. He can stand his ground still. Virtus.pro, obviously, I mean, I don't even know how you really psych yourself up to sort of say, let's go, guys.
We can do this.
Still time. Quick trade as they do lose Snacks, but take Simple in return, which is not too bad.
You can live with that trade. Obviously, again, stretches the defense. Not that it's as big of an issue on a map like Nuke, considering the quick rotation times and how the entire map layout is, but you have to be aware. Flame is actually going aggressive here, so Mihu might be in for a rude awakening. Not from Flame even. Zeus had an opportunity at least.
Yeah, what a pre-aim as well. It's kind of hard because he's a little bit lower down, so he has to aim, you know, higher up to get headshot range and or the right height for it. So that was really well done.
Right now, VP finding the opening frags they need here. Bialy takes down Edward. Electronic through the smoke here in vents. Going to be able to get the drop on Neo.
When it fades, that's going to be interesting.
He's going to see the smoke actually going on. He's actually going to close the door. Are they giving up on this?
It almost feels like it. I'm a little bit surprised.
That was very early to give up on it. But I guess it kind of makes sense if you're thinking long-term for Na'Vi. You could look at their money. The two lowest, I guess, two with the lowest income right now is Electronic and Flaming. So if they are able to hold on to their weapons, Na'Vi can go into the next round with a new full buy. So it's not going to get easier for Virtus.pro by any means. I mean, they're going to get another round on the board, but how long is that going to last?
Yeah, just as a way to make sure. I mean, obviously, Virtus.pro showed some of what they're capable of on Dust 2. So if you give them a way back into the game, you know, even if you win it, if it turns out that suddenly you win it 16-13, that doesn't quite give you the same feeling. So
well, definitely not. You don't want to give your opponents any confidence. You just want to end it. There's no need to play with your food in that sense. So I think Na'Vi are making the correct choice in that sense. And obviously, Electronic had an opportunity to potentially catch out Neo, but I know this is just thinking smartly about it.
14-4.
And a second there, I saw Zeus with an op in his hand, so I was starting to get worried. That's going to get passed over to Simple.
And we can't revisit that meme too many times, can we?
Miku's going to find Zeus immediately. He only had the Alligator out, auto shoddy, so it's not going to be the biggest deal in the world, but obviously one man up. Something Virtus.pro are going to be happy to take.
Yeah, again, they're going to be a little bit of distance away before they can start to sort of say, oh man, we might actually be fighting for the map victory here, but essentially they're fighting to regain a bit of confidence in the game. Is Flamey going to take down Mihu? And Edward's very low on health, so even if Na'Vi have the man advantage, it can change really quickly. And my god, Edward, is he hiding inside of the smoke? He actually went aggressive with his health. I don't think they've even spotted him. Finally, Neo's going to be able to just catch enough of him to get the kill, so he's not going to be happy at all. 3-on-3. 50 seconds on the clock. Simple's got the AWP somewhere on the map right now. See what happens when he gets put into play. He's actually moving into the hut. I mean, of all the places you would want to pick up a sniper rifle and move to, this might be one of the last one. Close range, one bullet missed, and you're probably going to be going down, but Simple doesn't care. Taking down Snacks, and even a bit of wall bank shot coming through. And now he's on the other side waiting. 29 seconds, looking for the shot. It's Flamey instead to win it against Bialy. And Neil was hoping that one of those two guys would cause enough of a distraction that they could turn it around. But that's going to be Na'Vi taking around number 15. There's just no time for Neo.
It really isn't. So the save from the previous round really working out for Na'Vi.
Yeah.
Flamey being able to pick up a double kill with the saved weapon and everything. So they're right back to where they want to be. Map point. Very likely to win this through a third.
Did you know that from the T side of that squeak door, like essentially that little room that's next to lobby?
Yep.
You can actually shoot through the floor of that into the B-bomb side.
I did not know that.
Because obviously in the old new you could shoot straight through A to B, right? Yeah. With an AWP, but you can actually do it. I mean, I think the only you do it with the rifle, but you can't really do it with an AK anymore. Now it's just the AWP. But the AWP also works from that room into B. So if you're really good at planting and you just hope they defuse right on it and not somewhere else. How quick is that Molotov going to be? I'll try and see if they can find their way in. I'm not quite sure where that Molotov lands, but
I think Snacks wanted to vent dive and he eventually gets down there.
They've taken so much damage just even trying it. Mihu's picked up one headshot, so I suppose that is something, but Bialy's going to fall, and you have to think Mihu's not long after, but he runs into Simple, the perfect fight. AK versus AWP, they've got him isolated in the corner. He still wins the fight. Headshot against Pasha. Just feel like every time you feel like you've got Simple. Did he just take his hands off the keyboard? Yeah. Oh my god.
Are you crazy, Simple?
What an absolute baller. Just
again, it's like using that fear, right? Like instilling fear into your opponent's eyes. Mihu, as soon as that smoke goes down, is like, I'm not going anywhere near Simple.
Who does that? I mean, they're far ahead, but still. He knew there was a player on the other side. Snacks goes down. Simple playing no hands in this final round. Edward gonna fall, and that leaves just Miku. 1 versus 2. He somehow finds the kill, and now Simple might have to use his hands after all. He's a one-on-one with the bomb down, looking for the shot, just flanking on in. And that's gonna be it. Turning around for the defuse with the kit as well. And it will be just in the last couple of seconds here. A 16-4 in favor of Na'Vi, and we're going to go to map number 3, ladies and gentlemen, here at the grand final of the CSGO Asia Championships. Man, I mean, that was a really, really good return. Simple playing again. That's good, except for the last round, of course. Yeah. No hands.
Look, Mom. You know, he can do it all.
I wonder if he surprised himself and he just wanted to, like, you know, bring his teammates in on it. He's like, hey guys, you know, I can't even believe, you know, like.
Did you see how I killed Pasha?
Yeah, that's almost, you know, I wasn't even expecting that.
Simple, yeah, seemingly able to do everything. Edward also having a great match as well, which is nice to see, following up on that solid semifinals performance. So things are looking really well going into train for Na'Vi. But I also think, you know, a team as experienced as VP, they should be able to brush this off. Yeah.
Well, we're going to hope so. Third map going to be coming up, but not before we visit the panel. What did you think about that no hands situation, Paul? What a lunatic.
He's bonkers, isn't he, Anders? Absolutely crazy. Doesn't need any hands, just, you know, whatever. Can win matches without even touching the keyboard. Fantastic performance from Na'Vi this time around, just as it was from Virtus.pro in game number 1. It seems that what we've learned on the panel is that these two teams were very good on their home maps, but it'll all move to a third map on Train to decide the entire championship. Before we get there, let's break down game number 2 with Thorin and Sean Garris actually here. Back at the panel again. Duncan, what do you say at this point between these two teams? Like, both maps just ludicrous.
At least when Virtus.pro picked Dust 2, like, at least that was all on them, you know. Like, Na'Vi had to leave Dust 2 available. Yeah. Na'Vi obviously wants cash out the equation. In that scenario, Virtus.pro chooses to pick Dust 2 because they think, well, they don't really play it. Okay, we've played it a few times and lost it. It can be a surprise pick. The Na'Vi pick of Nuke is a very weird one, actually, because, okay, like I said before, they've played it in the past, often when forced to. I think I've seen them once maybe pick it themselves. It's actually a map, if you remember, you don't have to go that far back, where this was one of the few maps that hadn't kind of betrayed Virtus.pro, even when they were really falling down the rankings. They could always rely on this one to some degree, Train, and maybe a bit of Cobble. So a lot of teams used to just permaban this against the Virtus.pro team. So it's kind of ballsy to pick it, and then even if you pick it, you're expecting, right, let's say Na'Vi does win it, probably with a big CT side. No, they win it with a huge T side on a map that traditionally is CT sided, hence why most people don't want to play it and why it has to constantly be revised. So, yeah, this was a very bizarre game in that respect. And then obviously, complete reversal of fortune in the game itself.
Yeah, it kicked off from the get-go with weirdness, right? Zeus and Edward in a 2-on-5. Edward gets 2. Zeus left in a 1-on-3. Somehow manages to win this 1-on-3. They start off 3-0. And then from then on, it was Na'Vi switching up between going ramp and outside. And Mihu is absolutely doing a pretty poor job at ramp.
Getting close. Does he get it?
Yeah. He does.
It's a sad state of affairs where it takes winning a clutch like that as well to get any rounds in the whole game.
Yeah, so Na'Vi basically had no resistance at both ramp and outside, and that's a recipe for disaster when you play Nuke. The upper bomb site was basically flanked through heaven a couple times. I mean, Virtus.pro honestly looked like they weren't comfortable at all on this map. And maybe that's, you know, Mihu joining the team and them not really having time to, like, reassert all the values that they had on it when Taz was on the team. But they, for some reason, they don't look ready at all.
There we go. No hands, just a winner. Win a game, no problem at all. From Simple, doesn't need hands on the keyboard. The two other things in here I wanted to talk to you about. One was the clutch, actually, by Zeus. Because I think it was actually very well played by him, wasn't it? Not just the first 2 kills, but in the 1v1, it felt like he played that site really well just to run the time down. I get the sense that sometimes other players who are a bit flashier, you know, they want to draw out the bait, they want to bait someone into a flash, they want to run in and kill them. He didn't need to do that, and he realizes in the heat of the moment he doesn't need to kill the other guy to win the round.
Well, this is, I mean, obviously Zeus himself isn't very famous for being in clutch round situations. In fact, he's quite infamous for dying early in rounds. But in a way where, you know, it's kind of his style. But I have to say, and Sean could probably speak to this, if you look, the difference is, yes, if you have some superstar player, they often do just try to win the aim duel. They look for a favorable aim duel. Sometimes they'll even initiate because they think, like, I want to be the guy taking the fight. And what's funny is if you look, the number of in-game leaders or support players who in a clutch have a smoke or a flash, they don't throw it all early like all the star players because they know, like you saw in that round there, it was those 2 flashes that won Zeus the round. He never actually had to take a fight. He basically just baited him out and then made it so Neo could never defuse.
Yeah, and he actually used the update to Nuke to his advantage too by taking the bomb into the lower site as opposed to upper because the vent that was usually there that rotates the CT in the lower wasn't there. So you pick a side to plant on. Highly unlikely that the CT is going to be, you know, hiding in the hallway.
Yes.
So he goes through the hallway, and he just plays the bomb from the hallway, opens the doors, jiggle peeks the spot, there's a flash through the window. He played that super well, and that's honestly what kicked Na'Vi off on the right foot.
Yeah, it's very nice. Stats on the screen. Also, the other one was the 4-man roof Virtus.pro pistol. Can you explain that at all? Because it kind of looked a bit weird, and then they all kind of died to Edward anyway, so it was kind of like, what was that?
Yeah, it was just like an eco stack. Virtus.pro is kind of infamous for doing these weird stacks. They made the one on Cobble where they're like all in the mid ramp. Yeah. This is just like their Nuke version of that, I guess. Didn't really work well for them. Yeah. Nothing to really say about it other than that, I don't think.
Okay. I guess Edward Simple up there for MVP. Who would you choose, Sean?
I would probably say Edward, actually, surprisingly.
He did have like 130 ADR or something.
He played really well, so.
Yeah, he ended 126.2 ADR, 25, 3, and 13. And 18 of those were headshots.
He just does look like, normally when they're doing this, okay, it's like a silly thing with glasses on. That looks like some put like a uniform on him, it looks like some sort of old-time war picture. He looks like some hero of the resistance or something, doesn't he? It's epic. He's born to have an AK like that, isn't he?
I think Nacho actually said the same thing earlier.
It's unreal.
That's fantastic. I still think that the best one out of all of them is the Kyo knife one.
Yeah.
Because it does look like something
look
out
pretty
of
good.
the Avengers or something. It's fantastic. Good stuff. All right. Well, break time for us. We're going to head to a third and final map between these two. Who knew at the start of this one that we'd end up with 2 one-sided victories of both teams? But that's how it shaked out. And now we head to train for the final map to decide the CSGO Asia champion. All of that will take place after the break with your commentary team of Anders and Vendetta. We'll see you soon.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मानो मुकुर सुधार वरनो रघुवर बिमल यशो जो दायक फलचार बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहे हरहु कलेश विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुंती निवार सुमत के संगी कंचन वरण बिराज सुदेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराज कांधे मूंछ जनेऊ साज शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणियाति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सिंहाई दिखावा विकट रूप धारी लंक जरावा भीमा रूप धारी असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाए सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्ष उर लाए रघुपति किन्हीं बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत सम भाई श्वास बदन तुम्हारो यश गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे संकाधिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद साहित हीसा यम कुबेर दिक्पाल चाहते कभी कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवन कीन्हा राम मिलाए राजपथ दीना विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना युग सहस्त्र जो जन पर भानु लिलियो ताहे मधुर फल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मिली मुख माहे जलधि लांघि गाय अचरज नाहे दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम हरते थे राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होते न आज्ञा बिन पैसारे सब सुख लाहे तुम्हारी स्वरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज सम्हारो आपै तीनों लोक हांकते कापे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनाए। से रोग हराए सब पीरा, जपते निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन कर्म वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोहित अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों युग पर ताप तुम्हारा, है परिसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुल्हारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नवनिधि के दाता, अस पर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम हरे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुवीरपुर जाए, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाए। और देवता चित ना धरे ही, हनुमत से ही सर्व सुख करे ही। संकर कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय जय।
One thing that